Alright boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. I thought today we're just going to be taking a look at the four rewards for the upcoming Winter Extreme event. We're going to start with the VCAS and then move our way down. So this is the Boxer type chassis. It's been in development since the 1990s with the British, Germans and a few other people as well. I think the French did what France does and spat the dummy out and left the program, and then it got replaced with, I think it was the Netherlands or some other country. Anyway, this thing is absolutely huge. You can see here that it's like 4 people stood on the shoulders. That's how tall it is. The turret is completely unmanned, and similar to the KF-41, it has 2 spike missiles in this little pop-out pod here. When this goes live, this model isn't finished by the way. When this goes into the proper live server, I assume this little like pod will stick up like the KF-41. So let's take a quick look at the modifications. This is of course completely stock because it's just a test drive from the War Thunder wiki. We are going to get thermal imaging. I don't know whether that is going to be high resolution. I would assume it would be because the VCAS, it is a modern vehicle. It's like 2010 onwards I think. So there's no excuse for it to have bad thermals, but no engaging. They're probably going to screw us. It is getting a laser rangefinder, which will help, especially with the gun ammunition. Got some decent rounds. They've got high penetration, but against angled armor, they're not really that good. They also only weigh 0.1 kilo, so you're not going to be carrying a lot of velocity to do a lot of spall damage. And especially with all the new spall liner tanks added, it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the arse, really. The spikes as well, the fire and forget, which is good in theory, but in practice they kind of don't really work that well. Usually they'll lose track if the enemy goes behind cover. They're hard to get a lock in the first place, and usually they just fly center of mass and end up hitting the gun breach or something. It doesn't really kill a tank. You probably are better with just your traditional SAKO missiles, which you can at least aim for weak points of tanks. So the VCAS is a rank 7. It's coming in at battle rating 10.3. It is going to fit into the 10.3 German lineup very well. It's going to be of questionable utility, I'd say. You already have the Radkampfwagen at battle rating 9.7. That thing is going to be just as fast. It's a lot smaller, and it's got a 105mm gun with DM33. I don't really see how this thing can compete, to be honest. It's a lot bigger, slower. It's got a worse gun and worse... Well, it gets missiles, but they're not really that useful. For an event reward, I guess it's okay. It's not particularly... not really impressed me, to be honest. It's kind of like a KF-41, but even bigger and slower. And if you watch my review of the KF-41, it was just a little bit too big and slow to be an effective light tank. And the 2 IR missiles didn't really do it any favours. So against a tank like this, quite far away, you should get a pretty decent lock and kill. It might kill. It might just do minimum damage. See there, it just did the breach and didn't really kill it. So that is good damage, don't get me wrong, but because you've only got 2 missiles on this thing, you kind of want to be making them do as much damage as possible, really. If you can't really guarantee with a weapon system, it doesn't lead to you having like a confident playstyle. You always second guess yourself. Another issue is that from the front here, we can't really do any damage to anything that's armoured. The tank at least does feel quite good in terms of acceleration. For such a big vehicle, we'll go up towards the T62 and show just how big it is. Against the IT1, you can see we're practically double the height of it. Gun depression is pretty decent, to be honest. You're going to need it being such a big vehicle. Can we get his gun? Not exactly very effective. You're going to basically just be limited to getting to the side of vehicles in this thing. A lot of people were complaining in the last update that the Germans didn't get the Lynx. Well, I guess now we've got it practically. This is pretty much a Lynx, just on wheels. I guess you don't get the explosive or the active protection system, I guess. That's the only difference. But for a ground event vehicle, it's not too bad. I think this CV90 Panvia thing that we got last event was probably better. At least it's got a main 105mm gun. This thing, while cool, not particularly effective in my opinion, but a nice reward anyway for any 10.3 German mains, I guess. We then have the Mirage 2000 S4. Now, it's worth bearing in mind this is a rank 8 plane, so you aren't going to be able to grind out rank 6 with it. It would have been more effective for skipping the French grind if it was a rank 7, because then you'd be able to grind rank 6, 7 and 8 efficiently with a talisman on it. But alas, it's still a good reward in my opinion. Kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but I think this thing will go for quite a lot on the Gaijin marketplace. I'd recommend just grinding the event just to sell this, even if you don't want to play top tier France. If we take a look at the plane, pointing out we only get 54 countermeasures, and we do get internal 30mm guns. So this is the C model, it's not the D model, which has no gun. We also get a decent array of ground strike options, but not really any guided munitions. Only 250 kilo retarded bombs and freefall bombs, as well as some small SNEB launchers. Not really going to be that efficient for rocketing bases in top tier realistic if that is your plan on grinding this thing out that quickly. Unfortunately, Gaijin has said no to that for some reason. I don't know the history behind this plane, whether it doesn't get a wider variety of weapons, but regardless. We do get the Magic 550 Magic 2s. These are very, very good missiles. Not as good as the R-73s. A little bit worse than the AIM-9Ms. Still very good missiles though. You also get the 530Fs. These are the pulse signal semi-active radar homing. Not worth using at all in my opinion, because you can just defeat them with one pop of chaff. The Super Matcha 530Ds though, these are constant wave modulated, I believe. Something to do with the radar. It means you can't really chaff it as easily. These are actually worth using. They're not as good as AIM-7Ms. They're nowhere near as good as the R27ERs, but still very good. When this plane comes stock, you are going to get 2 magic ones. These are not all aspect, they are just rear aspect, but they're still pretty decent. They don't have the IRCCM though, whereas the magic 2s do. So you might want to... I can't even Golden Eagle it that easy. It's going to be a little bit of a rough point to spade, I'm going to be honest with you. But you're getting like 80% of the weapons found on the actual tech tree Mirages. With like, you can just grind out the event and get this for free. So I really do think this thing is going to be very, very good. Take it out for a quick test drive. I don't think I can take any weapons. But I give you a quick demonstration of the kinematic performance. It's going to be the exact same as the other Mirages, but so nice cockpit as you'd expect. Very fast acceleration. Get pulse Doppler head on, track while scan head on, and pulse Doppler velocity head on, as well as a regular search. You can actually change the scope quite a lot. I get a lock here. Pretty decent radar at least. The plane feels very fast. It is just a top tier French jet for free, with a little bit less missiles. I don't know whether you're going to be able to carry 4. You also get the radar gun sight you saw there. Also get leading edge slats on the wings. Should give it a little bit better turn rate. The problem with all Delta wings though is the aubergine here. Oh, I didn't crash, you didn't see that. The problem with all Delta wing planes though is in a sustained turn you will bleed your speed like something that loses speed a lot, I guess. My metaphor failed me there. You're going to lose speed a lot though. Something like the Mirage 4000, which was just introduced, that thing has 2 monster engines which just propel it through that turn basically. The Mirage 2000s, while they have good angle of attack and initial pull, they do fall out of the sky after about 3 or 4 turns. So you still just want to play this thing like any other jet at top tier. Just keep your speed up, make a pass. If you miss, just go around again for the next person. But yeah, I'd recommend getting this if you're not going for anything else. Even just to sell it, it's going to be worth 30-40 Gaijin coins. It's just free money basically. And finally, for the main prizes, we have the USS Mississippi. This has just been changed on the game. This should now have 14-inch guns, 50 caliber. It's still saying that the 45 caliber on this model, but it did just say in the change notes that have just come out like this has been changed to 50 cals. Not sure if that is true though. But anyway, you've got 12 14-inch guns, The armor of the ship is pretty decent, actually, 320 millimeters, so 13 inches of armor, I believe, if my conversion to Imperial is correct. That's on the barbette, sorry. The belt armor is about 14 inches. Not too bad at all, to be honest. We don't have any coal bunkers anymore, which kind of, in real life, didn't really give that much armor protection, but in War Thunder, it's completely overpowered because Gaijin doesn't know what naval history is. The aero tanks don't give you really any protection. The armor is pretty decent. You have the conning tower as well, but it's not. Oh, why is there so little armor on the conning tower? I guess the Americans learned from the British and that basically no one goes in there anyway. But yeah. Let's take this arch with. Let's first cover the anti-aircraft firepower, which is the main selling point of this ship, I guess. This is actually the most modern ship in the American tech tree at the minute. So we have a shitload of 5-inch 25 guns. These are not the World War II 5-inch 38 guns that are pretty famous. We also have a shitload of 40mm L60 Bofors guns. These are pretty decent. I doubt Gaijin is giving them the proximity fuse warheads though. But as you can see, you've got an absolute metric ton of firepower. Take it into a quick sail. This might not actually work that well because the turrets probably rotate at the speed of a tectonic plate. If we put our on this and go to 3, should be able to light up the sky. Oh my god. I think, do we not get radar on this now? I'll go back to, I'll let the AIs do the work. You should light it up a lot quicker. But as you can see, no one is getting anywhere near you. Switch to the 5-inch guns. Pretty effective. We wait here now for the 14-inch guns to turn. Alright, so we've got our 12 14-inch rifles here. Let's test it against a German, I guess it's a destroyer, but it's more a torpedo boat, I guess. I don't think they're going to be having a great day in that. The gun dispersion is pretty bad. That's only at 5 kilometers, but we did basically ruin their day. So the gun reload isn't the best. It's 1.5 rounds per minute, so 40-second reload, sorry. It's really not the best, to be honest. I don't think we can actually see the crew skills from this screen. You get some nice camouflage, so these are AI generated, not really that important. But the rate of fire is 1.5 rounds per minute. I think that's 40 seconds. I'm too tired to do maths in my head. But anyway, the guns are quite slow. You don't get any semi-armor piercing. We only get 14-inch APC-BC and 14-inch high explosive. With nearly 50 kilos of TNT, so these are certainly no joke. But with a 40-second reload, you mainly just want to be firing APC-BC rounds. You aren't really going to be facing many light cruisers in this thing. And APC-BC is probably still good enough. I don't know what their TNT tonnage... That's got 10 kilos of TNT. That's a very good APC-BC round to begin with. So if you're a naval player, then the USS Mississippi is it's a no-brainer to get, really. It's an incredibly good ship. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want this thing if you're an American player. If we go to the US tech tree, the Blue Water Fleet, it is going to be by far the most modern battleship. The Alaska isn't a battleship, it is a large cruiser. The Nevada, I believe, was built in 1915 or something like that. But anyway, lads, I hope you have a good day, and I'll got a review coming of the F-15 next. So I'll see you later, lads. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.